Welcome all to episode 21 of the None of Our Business podcast. We are your gracious hosts, Filthy, Filthy Animal, Philly Fanatic.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Philosophy, Philanthropy, Peace Steezy.
I'm just coming staring at Keenan being awkward.
C. Duncan.
But he's a little more awkward than usual right now. What's going on?
This is weird. What's going on with this vibe?
This feeling that you're feeling, that's how I was feeling just a second ago and all day earlier today.
Jesus. CNN Dunkaroo. C-section. C-money.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we do. And I'm Joe. Today, we have a wonderful guest.
Drum roll.
Lovely. You want to introduce her?
I got the last name finally.
Thank you,
say it
Keaton.
right? Sharma?
Sharma.
Sheela Sharma.
Sheela Sharma.
Yeah.
Sounds like a comic book character.
Hey
Peter
now.
Parker, or I don't know. What are the other ones?
Wonder
there's
Woman.
Peter Parker. No, they're not. Oh, I mean, I guess you could say Wonder
It's an
Woman.
alliteration.
Name.
What other one? Clark Kent. Peter Parker. What's the other one? Come on, guys.
Keenan's like, right now, I don't give a fuck about any of you guys.
He's like, fuck all of you.
Give me some space,
In
guys.
all fairness, I'm a little on edge, and it's not because of caffeine like usual.
Bruce Banner.
I'm just like super. I think I need to like meditate in some far off mountain and just figure out my life for like one day.
Or you just need to find that chord that was getting you upset.
That's also true.
It's sitting right next to him.
No. See, that's not true at all, Keenan. I like having you around. I've noticed. We were talking about this earlier when I was at the door to go pick something up that I lost and I thought it was in my car. I'm so happy all the time that anytime I'm even a little frustrated, everybody's like, "God damn, Phil, what's wrong?" Yeah. It's like, stop staring at me.
I've known you for so long that I don't even give a fuck. Like, see,
you guys know.
See, you guys know the happy Philly. You guys know the happy Philly that he's always perky and always just good. I know Philly before he adjusted himself to be the happy Philly. So I know when he's a little off a little bit, and being related to him for so long, it's like, all right, you just got to let him breathe a little bit. That's all he needs. What's going on? Whatever that is what he just did. I don't know. All right, so we're trying to do the, you guys know what's been going on with us with this whole camera situation. We're trying to find our common ground with the cameras. So we're always here or there doing one shot, or we're still trying to figure it out. When we do, it's going to be phenomenal. But for now, this is what you get. Phenomenal.
There's a really, really good looking guy in a purple shirt.
Where is he?
Is that Mauve?
Where is he?
I like that,
Keenan?
Sheila. There it is. Hey, one, two.
Hey, Keenan. Hey,
He's like,
your voice
why?
is a little soft right now, Keenan. I need to hear that bass in your voice.
Hey guys.
It's all about
Hey,
that
what's
bass.
up? What's up?
Over here inside.
He's
No,
like,
because then But see,
Oh, now you can hear yourself.
yeah, but now there's something different coming.
That's your voice, Keenan.
I need to see.
That's your
I need
voice.
to see a doctor. I can't hear properly because now I hear something on top of my own voice.
Oh, the hiss. Oh, that's just a high. That's just a high
that's the
amplified
bass in your
microphone.
chest.
It's
That's the amplification of the microphone. It's called gain, and so what it's causing is a sort of a compression and a capture of more than is necessary.
yeah. So it's probably that we just go back to me not hearing myself.
This is getting way
And
it's
too
fine.
technical.
I can remove all that in post.
But
Don't
you
worry
can
about it.
also turn
just
me up
make sure
too.
that if you laugh hysterically,
I have to pull back. I don't know.
Just a
You're gonna
little
have
bit.
to pull back.
I usually lean
Pull back.
forward when I open my mouth. So
Oh, hey,
Oh.
Hey, man.
maybe we should turn it down because I might get the microphone stuck in my jaw or
Well,
something.
Keenan, I don't know if your mouth can fit around that.
hey.
No,
You'd be
it's not.
surprised.
Don't test it.
You'd be surprised with his
Keenan will
mouth.
find a way just to prove he can.
Then you may need to throw
Yeah.
that mic away.
Yeah. No,
Oh, no,
but
it's been spit on many a time.
lower's fine. Lower, we can go back to the original. Lower's fine. I need to be able to laugh. Yeah.
I want to laugh comfortably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheila,
Yes.
welcome to the
Thanks.
new podcast, the None of Our Business podcast. I think we tried to get you on earlier last month, right?
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
It was back
Dang,
in February, I think. But I
tried. That's when I was
in
scheduling.
Chicago.
for your intro.
Yeah.
and-
Deuce.
Mhm. So we're glad you
Yeah.
came on. Welcome. You are our second female guest.
Yay.
And at this point, now I'm just not even going to say, I'm gonna try to stop keeping count of female guests because this should just be a natural occurrence.
It should be a more
I don't want it
regular
to,
Now that we have
situation.
2 out of 20.
now we have 2.
out of,
No, that's not true either. Out of 10.
out of 10.
So
but
we're
there's
at a 20%. Yeah, but we've only done
21 episodes.
We've done
right?
21 episodes, but only 10 of those have had
Because
guests.
it's a half. It's a
Yes.
thingy. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a thingy.
Stop trying to fight.
You guys are getting way
What?
too
I
technical.
know we really are. I'm sorry. Anyway, the point is, we got you. You're here, and we welcome you.
Yes, and you have your own situation, like with a vlog, a show, or what?
Yeah. Well, I just started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Not that long
You want to
ago.
plug that? You want to?
Yeah, of course.
plug that?
It's if you go to YouTube, it's SheelaSharma.tv, but you have to spell Sheila right. If you spell it like Sheila, you're not going to get to my
Okay.
channel.
So how's it spelled?
It's spelled SheelaSharma.tv. So
Sheela
check it
Sharma.
out. It's mostly beauty and
Okay.
beauty and skincare type stuff. So you guys may not
Good.
be as
I mean,
interested.
shit, you'd be surprised.
but,
I got to
you
work
know.
on a little bit here.
You
Oh
gotta
yeah, you know,
exfoliate.
wrinkles,
I have
exfoliation.
I have rosacea.
I may have some foundation tips for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just cover it up a
Might have
little
to
bit
put-
when you're.
I have
wait,
bags
I
under
said,
my eyes.
Wait a minute. I said I have rosacea. I never said I was ashamed of it.
Oh, but you
This
pointed
is
it
my
out.
natural blush.
You have blush. You really look like you
This is
have
my
blush
natural
on.
blush. I just
Like I'm a little
Joe
bit.
turning
Keenan has
everything into
natural blush
positive.
too.
Keenan has natural
Yeah, but
blush.
people ask me if I got into a fight or something happened.
No,
or they'd be like, "Are
do
you
they?
drunk?"
Yeah, or yeah.
Do they
It's-
really?
It's never.
When was the
anything.
last time somebody asked you that?
At work last week ago?
You should
he
just toughen your
he-
image and be like, "Yeah,
He
man,
just
it was
pointed
crazy."
and was like, "Are you okay? You look
Wait, he
like you got
touched
into
your
a
face?
fight." No. He
Oh.
touched his face and was like, "Did you
Uh,
get into? Is something okay? Are you okay? Like
She's like,
something's
"Yeah, I
wrong?"
fucked
Well,
with
you know what,
somebody,
Keenan?
yeah.
Now what you
Yeah.
do is you walk in and be like, "Yeah, but I
Yeah.
won. What's up?"
Fuck
I
them
did.
up.
I said you should see the other girl.
What? The other girl.
I'm kidding.
Keenan.
I'm kidding. I don't hate women. I swear.
I don't know.
I
But
don't
you
know.
signed-
There's a
simultaneously-
correction that you actually need to make, Keenan.
Oh no, actually,
not-
because I took care of that.
He-
Did
he
you listen
edited-
back to
oh,
it?
but-
Did you listen
Well
back to
then.
it?
Yeah, but
I did.
But I should correct myself
you should.
for anybody. But not. I'm not correcting my statement.
I'm just concerned it may not go well.
Just let
Let's
him-
hear your
hey,
statement,
let-
Keenan.
Let me
let him-
build a fence around the hole I just digged myself. Maybe I can
Okay.
help it.
I'm gonna have to edit so much.
Go
Spit
ahead,
it out,
go
Keenan.
ahead.
Spit it out.
No, what happened was
What had happened was.
let me just set the basis of what led up to that topic, my soapbox topic in the first place.
Okay.
There's no backstory. I just came out yelling about financial inequality. Don't give me that.
I'm here,
Especially
man.
since you have me on camera.
Gender financial inequality.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which didn't even cover gay, lesbian, transsexual, all that stuff. It was just male and female,
Mhm.
which is also something we probably should be out there.
You know
Like,
what?
where's the statement on that? Do people who are gay get paid less than people who are straight?
No, a lot of them get paid more. They're rich. They run Hollywood.
Ooh,
There's, hey.
But see, somebody could be
Proof.
saying the same thing about everything. They'll have something about racial inequality. It's like, well, you get some benefits for being black and all that stuff. There's always a positive to look at that. Like, wouldn't it be unfair to say that, no, they're rich and it's not true? Like,
But
how do
I
we
think
know?
there's statistics that have a generalization. It doesn't mean that it's true for everybody because there could be a black female who makes way more than a white male at her same company. So it all depends on, it's just a generalization of what happens
exactly.
in
But
general.
that's what I'm saying. I didn't get a chance to say that. It just
You had
came
all
out-
the time in the world. It's your soapbox talk.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking straight at the end of the soapbox.
Keenan's never thinking straight.
So
Exactly.
I can help if you want me to, but I'm gonna
Well, I should-
propose it.
Well, it's
I
not a
should
soapbox
actually do it.
anymore. So
Well, it's
yeah,
not.
of course you could.
But
do
I
it.
gotta say the process that led up to that.
Right.
So a couple weeks ago, before that podcast, I've been reading these books and watching videos and like positive imagery and self-help gurus and stuff like that. The Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, The Secret, shit like that. Every one of them
For me.
has, yeah. And see, somebody could come in and defend that.
Of course they can.
The point is
Okay,
that
go on, yeah.
Okay, continue.
they all have a section in their book, in their story about not to live your life fully is to never blame anybody else or anything else on the problems that you're having in your life.
Mm.
That's true.
I've been to these rooms and seminars, and everybody will say something about, the police did this to me, the government did this to me, my husband did this to me, my wife did this to me, and at the end of all that, they always try to get the person to realize that they were bringing on that negative energy themselves, and they weren't really hindered by what somebody else involved in life did. It was, but I'm coming from that thinking, and then I hear
like people who blame the president for their problems,
things like that. But it also led into, financial stuff and relationship stuff, which made me start connecting dots, probably in places where they shouldn't be. But I was transitioning it over that if all of them are saying that, hey, you shouldn't blame somebody else for the things that are happening in your life, then when I get this piece of information about getting paid less than a man or racial inequality or something like that, then I would take that same information and go, okay, well, if this is true, why is it not applied to this scenario? Okay. How can they always be say? How come none of these people are hearing or seeing the same information I'm hearing?
Truthfully, Cianan, if you want to look at history, women really weren't in the workforce until way later than men.
I know that.
Yeah.
So
I know that. Yeah.
And I know you know these things, but as far as like why, I mean, it goes with racial stuff too, about racial inequalities. And a lot of it comes just from history of because men were already in the workforce for a lot longer, women work different types of positions. So as women are now more integrated into the workforce, these men may have like years and years of tenure ahead of them and work experience where you may see mostly men in certain types of positions where now women are starting to work their way up the ladder. But that does go for some of that pay differential. Why do women make less? Probably because there's not as many women in those higher up positions because men have been leading these positions for so long.
And they've just been currently integrated into them.
But with that also, and I think it goes back to back in the day, men were truly the breadwinners. Men were the one who brought home the income to raise their families, whereas women, it was kind of looked at as secondary income. So it probably didn't feel as important for a company to pay out a woman the amount that a man would need because a woman is just supplementing a household, whereas the man is the one providing for the household in case the woman isn't working. So I guess with that mentality, unfortunately, people may have continued that and women may have unjustly gotten paid a little bit less. And maybe it's true in some places, maybe it's not true in all places. There could be some places where women are making way more than their male counterparts. So it's hard for us to say if we're not there and we don't know all the situations. But in general, studies have shown that there is a little bit of pay differential. And there's pay differential with different races as well. Not just with the workforce, but with Hollywood and different things like that. I heard about one of my favorite actresses on a major feature film she was on. She was the third lead and she only made she barely just made in the six figures, whereas her male counterpart was making a couple million. And her white male counterpart and then her white female counterpart, the second lead, made somewhere in the millions, but not as high as the male. And she made barely, let's just say she probably made between 1 and 200,000. And she had to pay for her own way there and had to pay for her own hotel. She was a Black woman. So, and you wonder why. Okay, you could say because she was the third lead, but had she been a white man, would they have paid her more? I don't know. We don't know the answer, but I would think for sure they probably would have paid her a bit more, but
definitely.
she was hurt by it, but she also knew it was an opportunity for her. So, it's just one of those things that it sucks and I hope it gets better, but we can't deny the fact that it's out there and it exists.
Yeah, but
I think all Cianan was trying to say, this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, was that regardless of race, gender, whatever the case is, if your qualifications don't match another, if they didn't go to the same school as you, and if they don't have as many years in the industry as you, and work experience to show for it, and actual case studies of things that you've accomplished, and they complain that they're not getting paid as much, and they use a reference point of gender or race as the reason why they're not getting paid as much, that's what he doesn't appreciate.
I get that. Now, if you look at him at a level
I don't know
playing
if that's
field-
what he was saying.
Well, no, I think that is what you
that was
getting
that
across,
was what
right?
I'm saying, but it seems like people bring in more information that doesn't cover that topic or discussion. I mean, you brought up the whole history of how women and men were being treated, but I was more in the sense of the mentality of where I'm putting two things together. It's more of the reason why I came up with that kind of conclusion that Philly just talked about. Not so much anything else, because I already know. You have to start from where I already know all the information you just told me. Like I already know that. So I'm coming from a different plane or area, leading up to what Philly was just paraphrasing, which is what I saw and then what I see in reality, and why those two aren't connecting. So if I see a book or read a book like The Secret, and then I have someone over here to the right of me going, my life is unfair. This is unfair. Everything's unfair. They're all doing this to me. It's because of this. How is it that those two haven't met yet?
Now, I will agree. There's a lot of people that just like complaining and making excuses for their life. Truthfully, like, oh, the world's against me, the man's against me type thing. I agree with that. And I think that that's not who we're talking about here.
Exactly. So we're talking about two different things. And I think when I present it, somebody goes off in an area that I'm not even talking about. I'm literally talking about what I just said right now.
And so you just want to make sure that people understood that, but they heard the last episode.
Exactly, but they'll go straight into Keenan's misogynistic, sexist, all that stuff. It's like,
I mean, you are racist, but that's different.
I'm a lot
just against itself.
I'm a lot of things. But I'll tell you what, I will pay women.
I had a statement that I said to Philly walking over here. I said, and he almost got it on tape, but I'll say it here now because I
feel comfortable enough. Go.
I said confidently and comfortably that I was proud to be a racist American.
Oh my gosh, Keenan!
All right, and then you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
And then my girl Rachel was like, "In the land of the free," right? And we're walking, and so I pull out my phone and I turn on my Instagram story. And I'm recording, and I'm like, Keenan, you hate being a racist? And he's like, what? Well, you piece of shit. I tried to catch him in the act.
Because I was just joking. But
he said it nonchalantly.
Yeah, it was very
He just finished eating tacos, and he was like, I'm a racist American, and I'm proud of it.
But but there's things that I agree with. So when Joe brought up not reparations, in the workforce for racial equality,
affirmative
action. Because it kind of relates to that too, inequality in the workplace.
Yes. Your hands,
your big ass hands, which probably imply your big ass dick, are hitting the camera.
I'm hitting the camera.
No, you're not hitting it, but you're coming into the frame. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we're still trying to figure this out. So
my bad.
Keenan, stop fucking it up.
Big hands do not equate to big genitalia.
She's gonna throw that out there.
I tell you,
do not be fooled.
What are some of the other things
then
that
ladies,
they say?
And then gentlemen, small feet do not equate to small vaginas. If we're to keep it real.
Wow, wait.
Yes,
what? She's trying to do us a solid.
I have a size 9.5 foot, and that does not mean.
She's like, wait a minute, no.
My big foot is good for kicking some ass. Okay, that's about it.
We're just going quality around here. Big, small, all that shit doesn't matter. These hands are small, baby. So my dick is regular.
I've been trying to figure out whether caffeine has hurt my adrenal glands or not. Like if I'm just entirely fatigued. You see
science.
Wait, is caffeine related to penis growth?
What? I was trying to change the subject.
Is that what that is?
I thought that's what the subject was on.
Real quick, I want to backtrack on what you were saying about Tony Robbins and shit.
Oh yeah, Joe. Let me. Joe hates self-help. Anything. He believes it's the white man's curse on everyone.
It really is. In my personal opinion,
you listen to them and you watch.
I don't. I'll see small clips of shit.
Yeah.
And I really don't care for them. And I'll tell you why right now. Okay. And I just realized it when you said it right now. Mm-hmm. You said you were reading something about with Tony Robbins and all that, and he was saying how he's blaming, other
people
blaming others, blaming the police for this or blaming the government for that and all that. That is a white man's mentality, because it's a fucking fact that minorities are harassed, by law enforcement.
That is true.
They are fucking overlooked by health insurance. Like it's a fact that we're treated differently. Mm-hmm. So for Tony Robbins to say, "Oh, you got to stop blaming on other people," no, that's exactly what the fuck is happening. Mm-hmm. So again, that's a white mentality. Oh, you can't blame because of course you've never been what's my word?
Minority?
No, you've never been a minority. You've never been a victim of it. You've never been in those circumstances. So you can't say, "Oh, you just have to stop blaming others."
keep your chin up.
In a sense, it is right. Yes. Okay, I agree that you can't blame other people, but partially that they are to blame. Not even partially. For a lot of things, they are the ones to blame.
Mhm.
I think that everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. I think, that Tony Robbins, The Secret and all that stuff where you have to think positive thoughts so you can attract positive thoughts. I think that there is some truth to that, because if you're always thinking negative and always thinking that the world is against you, then yeah, your reality is going to be true. But we all know as minorities, we do have tons of things against us.
Absolutely.
And I know you didn't mean it, but even like the whole reparations things, I mean, like, when was slavery abolished? How many years ago?
Not that long ago.
Exactly. So to think that white Americans had all these years to establish themselves here, and Black Americans are just catching up. You figure first generation Hispanics or Asians and everyone like that, it's not the same. Our families have migrated here. My parents are immigrants. And are trying to build their lives, but there's so many things against them. People being racist because they don't speak the way that Americans do, or because they have an accent, or because they can't understand everything that's being said. There are so many things that we have that do set us back. And truthfully, the cool thing about being a minority is we've come so much further than some white people that have been here that have been so privileged all their lives.
At a faster rate.
At a faster rate, which is great. And I mean, everyone has their own journey. But at the end of the day, I think, like I said, you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to be responsible for your own life. But at the same time, people do need to understand that as a minority, we do have some setbacks.
And
so,
1865.
Oh, you looked it up?
I looked it up real quick because I would feel bad if and I would get shit if I didn't know when slavery was abolished. Be like, come on, King, you're not.
Yeah, it's about 160, right?
But the thing is, even though slavery was abolished,
I don't know when Cesar Chavez said no more uvas, no more grapes.
Can I say something open and honestly? Fuck Cesar Chavez too.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of people don't. Did he do something?
I'll tell you something. And this leads to something else that I did want to talk about racism within our own
community
or community. Yeah. Like you
within
said,
land communities,
passingly you said, I'm happy to be a racist American, whatever. Yeah, jokingly, whatever. Yeah. Even if there is some truth, but the Latino community is so fucking racist towards itself
and everyone.
Well, and everybody else. Yeah, for sure. But a friend of mine, Stephanie Conde, she just I saw something that she posted where. And I see this a lot because this happens a lot with like second, third, fourth generation Mexicans who have lived in America. They have a huge, and you see this a lot in Texas too. Yeah. You'll see like Hispanic Mexicans, like super MAGA supporters, like for it. Mm-hmm. And Cesar Chavez was one of these guys. He was the guy that was saying, "Oh,
I'm confused. Wait, Cesar Chavez in Mexico was saying something about the same situation.
Cesar Chavez is here in California, but he was saying that he had that whole mentality of like wetbacks and illegal immigrants are taking our jobs.
So why was he so praised? Why is he so praised in Latin
because
community?
He was doing it for the Latin community in California
that's already been here,
that had already been there. He was working for
especially in Texas. There are several generations.
Yeah, he was speaking for the American Mexicans who would work on the fields
and say
it's like it didn't mean that Felipe Esparza.
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, they're having all these problems with like we closed all the borders to all immigrants." He was like, "Fuck it, fool! I'm already here." Like that. It's that mentality.
Okay. So there is a huge. It's super heavy as far as like the Latino community being racist against themselves. It's super heavy, and I'll be one to say that. I do once in a while. I'll make a comment, but that is a little racist in me. But that is like there are people who seriously feel that way. I'd never actually do something to go against my people, but there are people
because they're that people
that who feel entitled because they've been here for generations, and and it just happens to be that they were already geographically here because those people don't get treated the same way as white America does anyway. So it's fucked up that you're being racist against your own people when you're not being treated equally either.
Does that happen?
It doesn't make fucking sense.
Wants us to do.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking make sense.
Does that happen in Nepal as well, or like?
Well, there's not a huge Nepali community. I mean, there's a little bit in California, but where I'm from in Michigan, it just kind of started with my family. Like there weren't that many Nepalis there, but now there's a decent Nepali community. So it's hard to really tell. I know me personally, it's hard because I'm one of the oldest first generation Nepalis that I know. And sometimes it is hard. Like I'll look at, people that just came over and think of them as being different than myself because I was born here.
Oh, really?
Right.
I mean, honestly, you can't help but to feel that a little bit because it's not so much about who we are. It's just the culture. Like we've grown up in American culture because we're born here.
Mhm.
But then when you have someone who just migrated over, they're very into their old school culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you do feel that disconnect, like we're not the same. But that doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you. That doesn't mean that
That's true.
anything like that. But perfect example, my parents, they come from the age of arranged marriages, or
Yeah.
let's not even say arranged, but like, their family wants to pick
Set 'em
out,
up.
set them up type thing. And being that there were no other first generation Nepalis around, men, my parents would always try and talk to me about Nepali doctors. Like, oh, he's going to school to be a doctor in Nepal. Like, so? I don't want him. Like,
I don't even know what it looks like.
like I care if he's a doctor, but for me, it's because there's going to be a cultural gap.
Right.
Because that person growing up there is going to have a different mentality of how life is and the things his likes and desires versus how things are here in America.
Right.
So for me, it's like we're the same color, but we're not the same.
Culturally,
culture.
yeah.
We're not. I'm American culture, but that doesn't mean to disrespect them. Like you're perfectly fine. You'll find somebody. It's just not going to be me.
Yeah.
And now if I met him on my own, that would be different. But I just hate the whole setup thing,
Right,
but
right.
but to go with that, what I think is disrespectful is the fact that especially immigrants are the hardest workers. And for anyone to disrespect immigrants, it's crazy. It's like this world would not run without immigrants. Like, and
Of
especially
any gender, any race.
anything, because truthfully, you get racists like Donald Trump who, don't like immigrants, but do you like Chinese food?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you like Mexican food?
That's right.
Do you like Italian food?
That's right.
Do you like Indian food?
Where are your
guess
suits
what?
made, player?
Yeah.
Where are your hats made, player?
Anything,
Like,
like if it wasn't for immigrants, like wasn't his somebody on his staff? Like, didn't he have a nanny or didn't he have a
It's just the
housekeeper?
Well,
or
his
something?
wife is.
Well, her too, but
yeah.
didn't he have a housekeeper or somebody?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
he
what
did.
I'm saying. Like
it's the easiest platform to win votes on from people who actually take the damn time to go out and vote. That's just what it is.
Which is
Yeah.
the older crowd because they usually don't have anything else to do.
Every young person I speak to today doesn't know
Doesn't care.
who they're voting for, has not voted in years,
Mhm.
and all they care about is who posted on Instagram.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah. That's why Barack Obama was able to win his
He
campaign
did his
because
Facebook thing.
he was super, super heavy on social media.
Yeah.
Same for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He was super fucking heavy on social media, but he also had the older white crowd, the
And he catered to
retirees.
that.
Yeah.
He's huge in Florida, and Florida has always been
Mhm.
a state that's heavily Republican, but they've always been what are they called?
Flip state or slide state. I know what
I
you're
can't
talking
remember
about.
what
Wait,
it's
you mean a government technical term for a state that votes differently?
Yeah, it's a state that can turn the tide of a vote.
A swing
Swing
state.
state. There it
Okay.
is.
Yeah,
That's the
because
fucking
if you win
phrase.
that state, chances are you're gonna win.
Yeah, that's what happened to
presidency.
Bush and the whole
Exactly.
recount.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the whole recount
Yeah.
situation.
They always recount. Over
So
there.
if he already has fucking Florida in his pocket,
Yeah.
like if he already has Ohio in his pocket, 'cause
Ohio,
that's
Florida,
another-
California,
yeah,
Texas, New
I mean,
York.
he has
and-
Texas in his pocket because all of these are
Forget the other one.
retired crowds, white people.
Well, that's the electoral college that we set up. Yeah.
long
Again.
time ago.
Yeah.
long.
And that's
Speaking
the
of a long
problem.
time ago, before we get rid of slavery, I did want to mention
It's
that.
been
I
gone.
know-
What do
no,
you
I
mean?
know-
Get
no,
rid of it?
no, I'm just
You trying to
saying-
bring it back, Keenan?
Oh,
Well, it depends on what you look at slavery now, because now
Jesus.
we have.
He just wants to be someone's
I'm
sex
not even gonna
slave.
get in here. I'm like, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it was even though the date was 1865 it was abolished, but the last slave farm was 1950s.
Oh wow!
Like the slavery, nothing really got abolished. Once you change a law, it takes a long time for people to settle in for
True.
stuff like that.
Such a long time.
and then you got to think
crazy.
about integration and everything like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it took
yeah,
a long
yeah.
time before people could really even be at the same workplace.
Exactly.
Right.
So-
right.
Yeah.
I mean, segregation. We spoke about segregation.
We did.
We all have our opinions about segregation. You know, I
But
felt a little
that leads me
differently,
to a question. Say if I was like say if I was a full supporter of my wild, crazy side, like I was proudly to be racist and sexist and homophobic and all that stuff. Would you guys like still be my friend if I was still all
I
those
probably wouldn't
things?
fuck with you.
No?
Kevin. No.
I do
No.
think the
Interesting.
nature of friendship is founded upon being able to recognize in another person the values that you have yourself and seeing that they carry some of the same. Therefore, making them someone who could be your family, even if you will call them a friend.
Because it's true. Because I would see someone who's like super sexist, but the dude has like a wife and she loves him. Like, how
Well,
I
does
mean,
this
that
make
happens
sense?
all the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was a certain way, would I still be accepted?
But the funny
I'm sure
thing
you
is,
would.
some people are that way to
Mhm.
everybody else, but not to their
Mm.
significant other.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, but they probably will still treat her a certain way. They may still expect her to clean the house and take care of the kids while I go to work, but maybe she's okay with that lifestyle.
Yeah,
So
there
So you
are
never
some
know. It's
people who
up
are.
to that
And does
person.
that happen racially too?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know there's a book attached by
it
Amir
down here?
Amir
Oh.
Levine, and he talks about how some couples are together because they complete people in the sense for each other. They complete something in each other. Which if someone has a fear of like going out and socializing,
Mhm.
let's say it's the woman in the case that doesn't really, she's a homebody, doesn't really go socialize. She may find a man who's the type of guy who's like, I don't want you going out and hanging around with all these dudes and woo woo. And so she can use that as a crutch to make sure
True.
she stays home, and vice versa. The guy may feel like he doesn't have any power anywhere else in life, so he'll find a woman who will let him do that.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is absolutely true.
that happens in the Latin community as well. Like,
Oh, really?
Machista?
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. The whole machismo thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
And that
I never
happens.
understood that.
I mean, it's
Macho man.
I'd like to
Hey, let's
say-
be
I wanna be
macho.
like a
I'd like to
macho.
say that it's changed a bit. I mean, for the new generations of Latinos that are here now, but I mean, you'll still find it, and they'll be in our parents alone. You can see that. Not my parents specifically because they're
Yeah.
divorced, but but there are you do see families, older Latino families that still have that
It's just their values.
yeah,
right?
that dynamic within the family. Like there are Latino families where the women won't leave home until they're married or until they do something because the parents or the father specifically won't allow it. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, if you don't have a husband or if you're not, you
On
can't
some
leave the
Julius
house.
Caesar shit. I
Yeah.
forbid it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's like that in a lot of
Immigrant families.
immigrant
Okay.
families, like
Okay,
with
okay.
Asians and with Hispanics. I feel like with South Asians specifically. I mean, yeah, why would you leave home?
Mhm.
Like there's no need to leave home, especially as a woman. Why would you leave home? I mean, I did. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a rebel, but but truthfully, like they do have those certain values. Even my parents, like, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I was never into wanting to date someone of my same culture too, because I was probably too independent, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be cooking and cleaning like my mom is. Like my man's going to be cooking and cleaning too. Like, why should
Yeah.
I have to do all that? Like, why should I have to get up and go get him something? No, he got to get me something. So I was like, oh, I know I got too much
Yes.
attitude to be with somebody of my same
You're
culture.
like, hell no.
So
we gonna get in a fight. And I'm
exactly.
gonna win. I got 9.5 foot.
And I have put him be like, go get me some water. You go get me
Go
some
get
water.
that water.
Let me beat you with my shoe. But yeah, so for me, I think it's all about, it's the old culture.
Mhm.
And because that's what they grew up on, that's what their grandparents were like, that's
It
what their
is.
great grandparents were like. You grow up in that. But I think it's different when you take it out of culture and you just take it to like our regular American culture. It's like, why is a regular Midwestern housewife okay with her man being sexist, like you said,
Mm.
or treating her a certain kind of way? Because it's like, haven't we let that go?
You
Hey,
good,
I
you
just
good,
made a musical
yeah.
note.
Dong, dong.
Haven't we let that go some years ago?
Yeah.
Hasn't like there been more equality for women, like as far as like even at home, like more independence and stuff like
Right.
that? I don't know. Maybe not everywhere, but at least this in America, we would think that it would
I
be a
like
little
all
different.
those people in MAGA hats have friends and family and wives and coworkers
Yeah.
that
Some of
are
that
black
can be
and
for
all that
show
stuff.
too, though. Some of that
It's true. Yeah. I can't say that I don't. I mean, okay. I think in my
In your past lives?
personal life. No. Like I think in the real world,
It's every 12.
I haven't associated. I haven't associated with anybody like that, but I'm sure on social media,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who follow me or who I have as friends on Facebook who are that way. I'd never know it because
Yeah.
they don't present themselves that way on Facebook or any of these. Because believe me, I fucking
Unfriend.
Yeah.
super
Block.
quick
Yeah.
because that's just again, I'm very lax and I'm very weird with my mentality and the way I think of things, but I don't do extreme shit. Like
Okay.
I'm not for extreme ideals
Mm.
or anything like that. So that's just the way I think.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
so your YouTube channel. I
Yeah.
don't know. We segued into like racism and equality and
It
all
got
that.
deep. It got really deep.
Just listening.
I
about
just
it.
like playing with makeup.
How did you come about doing that? I'm just trying to lighten the mood here.
Well, let's see. It's because I put makeup on Cianan all the time.
Yeah.
That's why he has
Yeah.
rosy cheeks. No,
Actually, has anyone seen Us yet?
no, not yet. Don't spoil it.
I haven't seen it.
All right. No, I just
Is it about the rosy cheeks?
no.
the makeup?
No. Do you
He's
have
just
rosy cheeks up here and back here, or 'cause
Ooh,
the back here
you
might
might.
be
on my
for other
balls.
reasons? You have rosy cheeks on your
Let's
balls.
call these hands.
Okay,
like-
hold on. Now that's just nasty, guys. Can we not talk about rosy cheeks on balls?
No,
I
the
mean,
only
I
reason-
think he was talking to ass cheeks.
the only reason
but-
I brought it up
That's
is
what-
I've
yeah.
never seen a scary movie that I would say scared me. And it just bothers me that they want to call it a scary movie. And it bothers me even more that I'll go with someone and they'll be scared of the movie and then turn to look at me that I'm not scared. And then they're like, how come you're not scared? How come you're not as impressed as I am by the visuals that I'm perceiving with my eyes? It's this optical illusion.
Well, it's the same
Wait,
thing
isn't
for
it Thriller?
comedies. Well, yeah, Thriller. But like if Joe is like all about Captain Marvel or something like that, or Thor, or like any comic book, and then I'm not. Joe's will usually be like,
That's
well, then
a lie.
fuck you then. I know that's a lie. I'm just coming up with, but
That's
like,
what I'm
not every.
saying, though.
It doesn't have to be scary movies.
So what is it about some people who can say fuck you then and just continue to live their lives and other people
Like want you to feel
It's
it.
just we emote differently.
Yeah.
We just
some
have
people are like,
different.
how could you not? Like, how
Hey
could
man,
you
I feel that
Yeah.
way about Star Wars. Somebody told me
Man.
they didn't like a Star Wars, I'd be like, what?
So remember
Huh?
when we went to go see what movie did we see? What Star Wars movie was it?
It was Rogue One.
No,
It wasn't.
it wasn't
one of the newer ones?
Oh,
Had to have been.
no.
that we walked to the Regal Theater. Joe was there.
Then that was The Force Awakens. Then.
Oh, that was it? Or was it
I
The
thought it
Last
was
Jedi?
Rogue- I thought it was the
Or
Rogue.
was
One.
Solo?
Solo.
No, we didn't see Solo
Well,
together.
whatever.
didn't see
No,
that.
wasn't it the one that showed the beginning of Star Wars or something?
Yeah,
like
Rogue
that?
One.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rogue One.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I remember
The
my
funny
Star
thing
Wars.
is-
shit.
Fuck.
My boyfriend and I are not Star Wars people,
No, he
and we
fell asleep.
literally went. No, we didn't fall asleep, but
Tony
we
did.
literally. No, he didn't fall asleep. No, he
Don't
didn't
tell
fall
her what a man
He was just
did.
leaning on
She
her.
was watching her man's.
I was watching. No, I mean I wasn't watching.
You probably was watching my man's.
Would've
But
been
no,
the first time he
But we
texted.
we literally went just because
Right.
Keenan really wanted to go, and we're like, okay, it's not really a
so
thing.
now it's on me?
Where-
Okay.
How
Where
dare you invite
it's
people
the
who don't
same-
like shit?
well, it's the same kind of thing. It's like
Right.
you guys watching, you guys were in love with it. And we were like,
The fantasy of it.
okay,
all.
you ready to go home? So that was 3 hours just taken away from my life,
Oh,
you know.
Jesus.
What?
Jesus
And it's
Christos.
perfectly fine.
Right.
Because if we went to a rom-com right now, I'd be like, oh my God, that
She'd
was
be
so
like,
good. And you'd probably be like, that was a waste of 2.5 hours of
And
my
I'd be
life.
crying in the side, like,
Okay,
oh,
so maybe the fundamental underlying issue here that's kind of been the thread of this whole episode really is like the value system, right? So whereas the way the values are presented also clearly play a role, because Star Wars in itself is very philosophical in the sense that it's about a higher thinking and believing in this order of the universe, but also good and evil. And then right, and then and then rom-coms, although very philosophical in the sense of like, you know, what goes around comes around, karma, right? Treat others how you want to be treated, and the power of love overcoming all obstacles. It's still philosophy. It's just the circumstances they're presented in, because that Star Wars also has that, the power of love overcoming all obstacles.
True.
A son looking for his father and vice versa, you know?
I think it's all what we relate better to and what we just enjoy.
Star Wars nerd over here is like, well,
He's like,
Hey, what's
excuse
up,
me.
player? What's good?
Is that a Star Wars shirt?
No, is it?
No.
Of course it is.
okay,
He said,
Joe.
of course.
Okay,
In
lay
The
it
Force
down.
Awakens.
I'm actually interested in
I
hearing
can't
this.
see.
What is Star Wars?
Oh Lord.
Wait, as
how
a
long
whole?
is this podcast?
I know. Like, where do I even start? I mean,
Why did you get him
do I go into
started?
the Old Republic? I mean, what do you want to?
And it's
Star-
it's a whole universe.
No, dude. Star Wars is an epic. It transcends generations. Like, where else are you gonna? Where else are you gonna follow a story for 30 years?
Yeah.
30 plus
Why?
years. You're not.
Why?
You know why? Why? Because
In my
it's
own
true.
life, Joe, in my own life, that's where I've followed a story for 30 years.
It's 40 years actually.
Can we move on to
'Cause it started,
another
like, in 78. Anyway, yeah, you're right. You're right. Star Wars is too good for you guys.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, if that's what
Except
you
you,
tell
Kitty, you know
yourself.
so.
I like
I'm
Star
with you,
Wars
Joe.
mostly for
You're there.
Natalie
I'm
Portman,
there.
but you
You're
know,
like-
I like Star Wars.
Like,
I didn't
this
read
is
the
them,
books.
This is them. This is you, and then this
Joe's
is like
way up
you.
there.
I'm a Star Wars guy.
But what's
Like,
really
Those
the
my
deal
guys.
with Star Trek? Like that one, I really
Fuck
don't
Star
Here's the
Trek.
thing, though. No. I'm fuck Star Trek, but it's a Star Trek is more science based.
Yeah.
Star Wars is more fantasy based.
Science fiction.
I
It
don't
leans towards
fantasize
science
Yeah.
fiction
about
more.
that.
Yeah. You have fantasies about that?
No, not
Oh.
about Star Wars creatures.
Hey,
I was gonna
Tony,
say,
if you're
like,
out there.
I'm there.
Just
I'm
about
with you,
Tony.
sister. I am.
Just
And
That's
Keenan
right.
does too.
Yeah, talking about his
Uh,
big
so-
muscles.
His big
Go ahead,
muscles.
Keenan. You mentioned it once or twice.
Once or twice.
You was talking about Tony's muscles?
Yeah, I heard it.
Don't
I
you
heard
be
it.
undressing him with your eyes. Only I can do that.
He's like, oh, it's getting hot in here.
I knew you hugged him a little too hard at the wedding.
Hey, the
Right,
wedding.
the wedding.
Do you want to talk about the
I
wedding?
was at a wedding. Joe wants me
You-
to talk
Oh,
about
man,
the
You want to announce
battery's
it? It's all good.
low.
It's all
It's
good.
about- I'll be quick. The wedding
just
was
go
great.
ahead.
Boom.
Nah, come on. You don't want to talk about your brother's wedding?
yeah.
Yeah, fuck
My
it.
bro-
We got enough.
My brother's wedding was yesterday. It was really awesome. That I drank a lot.
Keenan was one of the groomsmen.
I was one of the groomsmen.
He looked pretty spiffy.
I did. I was cut. I was clean. No girls talked to me except
Were
for
there any girls there?
Nah.
Except for me and
I
his
mean, it's-
mom,
it's-
the
yeah,
bride.
pretty much. It's Phil.
Bill, I mean, come on.
No, they there was a lot of people there. It was great, nice scenery. It was very a rom-commy moment.
Yeah.
He actually brought out at the very end 2 stormtroopers came down from the
Son of a
steps
bitch. That's so,
And-
fuck you, Phil.
and led both Phil and Trish, his wife,
That was the
out
funniest
of the
thing.
exit out of the thing.
We heard the Star Wars music and we're like, what? And we
Yeah.
look up and we
Let's
see
see.
these, and one of them didn't even know how to walk down the stairs. It was so funny. But the stairs,
Yeah.
it's awkward. And I'm sure they have this big old mask on and they can't see what they're doing. And the one, he was stepping, poor girl, he was stepping all over the bride's dress on the way
Joe's
up.
jealousy is getting in the way of my ego.
Do you want to see the pictures?
I fucking
Joe, I'll
hate
show you
him.
the pictures.
Do you want a Star
Oh,
Wars wedding, Joe?
My greatest rival.
I'm going to show
in
you.
Street Fighter, ladies and gentlemen.
And let's get Joe's reaction on this.
How dare he? I was going to have Darth Vader read the nuptials. Like, what the hell?
So as you see
Nerd
from
alert.
afar,
Jesus.
hold on, do you
Oh,
see him coming
jeez,
down?
That fucker.
And they're literally escorting the bride and groom out.
Why don't you take it over to the camera for a second?
Phil.
Oh, wait. My
Just-
brother might not want.
Oh, yeah.
This
yeah,
post
yeah.
it,
Oh,
man.
right. Fair.
Just
Just know
But
this,
for you to
Phil.
see.
Thanks for the invite.
But
He did invite you at last minute. You were there. You were invited,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
I didn't know. He didn't
But
tell
it's
anybody
Phil we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I've met him maybe a couple of times, and
Mhm.
when he was nice to me, I was like,
when he
was nice to me.
What?
I was like, wait, you know who I am?
Yeah.
Even though we've met plenty of times, and you should know. I'm weirded out by this.
He's my greatest rival.
Yeah.
Why?
In video games, they battle each other. And
Oh,
Street
really?
Fighter, because he's really
Because we
good.
always match. Like,
Yeah. He's trained really. I'd like to
Yeah.
see him do Dragon Ball with you, but
Does he play?
no,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
out of
you
the,
get
he's out of
rocked.
the loop. Yeah.
You get rocked.
Yeah.
You get rocked, player. Come see me on some Dragon Ball any fucking day.
But the
Guy.
wedding was really good.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Okay, so when you say there were no girls, like, did you go in with that mentality?
No. Well, I went in with the
secret.
yeah, the secret. Oh my God. No, I went in with the mentality of hopefully hooking up with somebody.
Oh, really? You went to your brother's wedding with the intention of hooking
why
up with
not?
somebody?
That's where the negativity comes.
Why
Everybody
not?
tells
Why
you that.
not?
But
I'm saying like it's one thing to go to a wedding and be like, you know what, I hope I meet somebody, because girls who are single are likely going there and going, hey, I hope I meet somebody. You never
that
know.
is a possible, but most of
I
them,
don't know if we're going to hook up. But,
most of them were taken.
Yeah.
And then the rare 3 or 4 people that weren't left early or was doing something else.
they hooked
like
up
that.
with somebody and left.
Probably as I see them in the bushes. I'm
But
crying.
Keenan was
Yeah.
too busy being the life of the party, so he probably
turns-
didn't even get a chance
Yes.
to.
It
talk
turns
to
out
the
I
girls.
was. Everybody was saying, Keenan, you rocked it.
Well, you know,
pretty
it's always
good.
the quiet guy that gets the girl, right?
Well, he wasn't being quiet.
Fucked up, my G.
What?
Because you know, you go off into the cut somewhere, like you grab your drink and you kind of just put
Just
out
chilling.
the vibes, and you know, someone will notice you being out there, and if they notice you, they'll walk over and be like, "What's up?" You be like, "What's up?" And, you know,
Yeah.
"What's up?" But
You're like, yeah, I know the guy.
Is that how you think we are?
Oh,
Hey, there
yeah,
it
Sheila,
is.
speak on
That-
this.
Please
Let's
give
talk
us
about
some
it.
insight,
Because
Sheila.
I don't feel like I need to go up to a guy because I'm
Hey.
here. And if you want to get at me, you need to get up
Oh,
off your
shit.
seat and come say hi to me.
There you go.
Counter
Philly.
rebuttal.
Okay.
I mean, we've been listening to Philly's advice this whole time, and you're saying he's wrong.
Well, that's why Keenan's still single. Keenan, stop listening to him.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting this when I brought Sheila.
No. I will address this. Okay. Let me hit it. Let me hit you with this. So I never said to just stay standing there, and chances are she may not walk up to you. Chances are she may. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Try and make that eye contact, though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
But
the-
from the
Yeah.
distance,
That's okay.
showing that you're single, make it clear that you're single, and that you are looking for something, because it's all about the signals you throw out. If you're being the life of the party, but you don't make any eye contact and make sure somebody knows that they're special to you in this moment in time, chances are that
I
they're
did
not
that.
going to think.
I did that though.
You threw a vibe at someone?
Yeah, and I was dancing with her
Oh.
throughout most of the
And he
night.
starts the story, but there was nobody there.
Right. I'm like,
No,
wait, who was this
That's
girl?
what I'm saying. That they were out of what
You don't
100.
wanna say the girl's name, unless you
Oh,
want to
no.
air her out.
No,
What's
no,
up?
no, it's not
Out of 100 plus people, like 2-3 people were the single.
How many
ladies.
single ladies
then-
do you need, Keenan?
Well,
But they-
Keenan needs
I want
to-
options. You saw him thinking about that?
No,
I was like,
but-
well,
I'm just saying, like
All of them.
I would have to literally, I would have to search them out, and I didn't know that. I literally went in not knowing who was single
who
or
was
not.
single?
But what I was told by one of the groom bridesmaids, or somebody told me that there was a few people, and they gave names. They only gave names to like 2 people.
Okay.
Did
that
they
were
introduce
single.
you to them?
Nope.
Mm.
That's
And I
fucked up.
and I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's
That's
great
fucked up.
hater.
Whoever said, hey, there's a single girl over there.
Yeah.
There's a single
then
girl
just
named
like you-
Sharon, but you got to find her.
You
Yeah.
gotta
So
find her.
that's literally
What
kind
is
of
this, Pokemon?
Yeah,
You know?
She's wearing a pink rose.
So my experiences aren't fitting with the scenarios people mostly put up. And a lot of times I've been given opposite information. Somebody would tell me, no, you're supposed to be the life of the party, so they'll see you as like a fun person. And then they'll talk to you later, something like that. It's very
There's no formula. There really is no
Yeah.
formula, because I wouldn't want to necessarily entertain the guy that's the life of the party, because I feel like he's probably entertaining a bunch of girls. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would think. I would think that he's probably doing this all the time. I don't want a guy that's always out at a party.
so
That's always,
I would be told something completely
but
different.
this is my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. There's no one answer, because
And
we're
there's
all different.
types of people. Yeah.
There's
Right,
some
right.
women, because they may be the life of the party too, and they may love that, because together you guys can be rocking.
Well,
Like my
yeah,
friend,
taking over the town.
Nerlene,
Yeah.
like she's that same way. I mean, she's a wonderful woman. You know, when she's with a guy, she's very, very exclusive to just him. But when we go out, she is the life of the party. No one else will be dancing. We went to Vegas once, and I was really sick, and she was dancing. She didn't even care that I was just sitting on a stool
Uh-huh.
near her. She was drinking. She was having a great time. She was what I would call the life of the party, similar to you. So you may have someone that you find like that, where you guys are both together, the life of the party, and it works for both of you guys.
Like Team Rocket. Or
But the
something,
options
you know?
were extremely limited. So there wasn't an opportunity for me to have that scenario where I could, if I sat by myself
What
somewhere,
type of girl
I would be by
do you
myself.
want,
Yeah,
Keenan?
Keenan, tell us
I
about
think you
your
needed a wingman.
likes and
dude.
desires.
Yep.
Yeah,
What
You know.
type of girl do you want?
You want me to say all that on the podcast?
Well,
Yeah,
let's
like,
gonna
switch it up a
it's
little
gonna-
bit now.
It's going to cancel out
We're
a lot of people.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
We're
Talk
going to
about
hear
it,
about Keenan's likes
Talk
and
that
desires.
shit.
He's a
Keenan.
single bachelor, guys.
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen.
My rosy cheeks are like going to encompass my whole face.
The perfect
This is the-
love.
So all you single ladies out there, You may
Jeez,
have an opportunity.
why is
Call
there-
in.
Call in, ladies.
Oh man.
1-800-Keenan.com.
Keenan's not
1-800-Keenan.com.
Hello.
Go, tell us.
What's the perfect girl, Keenan?
Perfect girl.
There's gonna be, just so you know, there's gonna be one of the clips. So
Oh, so I can't say anything.
no,
sexist.
I mean, this is gonna be one of the clips.
This is
we post.
already
We're trying to get you a
starting off
girl.
great.
This is gonna be great. You're
Yeah.
so certain of yourself.
Perfect love.
So tell us,
Go.
Keenan, what do you look for in a woman?
I don't know if I want to say it. It's
Say
gonna
it.
come out wrong on the
Oh,
podcast.
God.
Everything comes
Phil's
out
gonna
wrong
have
in
to
this
Well,
edit it.
Well, all jokes aside, like if you had the ideal woman for you, you know, if she happened to be around here somewhere, what would she be like? What are some of the things that she would value? What are some of the things maybe she would look like? What are some of the things that you would look for in a woman,
I'm about to
Keenan?
narrow this down to a few sentences.
Whatever you want, Keenan.
Okay.
I mean, we only
Running
got
out
a
of room
couple
and
hours.
time, Keenan.
What?
Come on.
I'm
We
just
only got
saying.
a couple hours. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Video wise.
Video wise, but we're gonna add not just me. You guys are gonna say something too,
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're starting with you,
Yeah, we're
Keenan.
gonna start with you.
1-800-Keenan.com. Let's
I
go.
wanted you guys you
Go.
guys.
Hit it.
Well, I'm just gonna some of the things that I would be interested in.
Mhm.
It's
How
gonna
about we
come out
do
so,
this?
it's
How
gonna
about
come
we
out
do
so
no, no.
wrong though.
How about we do this? How about we do this? How
What,
about we do?
You want me
how
to
about-
say it?
Yeah. How about we do? How about we?
I'm
Because
being put on the spot here.
Let's do-
and you're telling me. And
okay.
you're,
Let's,
Okay, like me personally, I like girls with short hair. I don't know why. I just do, especially when it shows more of the neck and the back, and then the longer hair in the front, the whole A thing.
Oh, you like that lob.
Yeah, I don't know why. This shit drives me
That's just
crazy.
his thing.
Especially when I can see the neck and the
Yeah.
girls all like, ooh, I'm just like, what's
Philly has a
up,
thing
bro?
for necks. He's just like,
So
you just touch her
Yeah.
neck.
but the
You just
hair
kiss
is
her softly in the neck.
it's a I don't
Then
know
you just
because for
neck
me if I went something okay so the thing all right fine the thing is I like Latin girls and I
Of
like white
course,
girls
okay.
but see as I'm saying this on the podcast now I just ousted out anybody else who is not
Not
That's
necessarily.
not
Latin
true.
or that is
absolutely
true
not.
No,
because I
because
get
they
I
might
just said
have
that.
a friend
Yeah.
that is Latin or
No.
white that's going to fit the
But
rest
see,
of this
somebody-
No,
description.
because
but
I
I-
like black and Asian girls.
yeah
And I ended up with Sonia.
but
Like,
see the thing that what I'm saying is that when I would say that quite often
not to say I
people
ended up with Sonia like it's a bad thing, but you know, I'm just saying. Like,
Well, no, even Tony likes
Yeah.
Hispanic girls, but I'm South Asian. He didn't know what South Asians were until he met me.
Yeah, but he doesn't publicly announce. He doesn't publicly announce, "Hey, I just like Latin girls." Like this is obviously a broadcasting thing,
Dude, I like Asian girls.
Yeah,
Like from Korea.
and but most of the time when I'm talking to somebody, even if it's on a personal level, the next question is like, "Why do you like that?" It keeps going. It's never
I
accepted.
just
of
do.
the-
But you like what you
yeah.
like. It's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nothing
I've
wrong
always
with that.
said attraction is not a choice.
But I definitely don't want to come up here and say, what would that perfect person be like?
Well,
and
listen,
then-
it doesn't even have
Okay,
to be
so
about
what
race.
are some
It could be
measurements?
qualities.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you
yeah.
may have a preference in look, and we
Yeah.
all do. I mean, I have a preference. You know, I've always dated black guys. You know,
there it is.
I like big
And
booty
that's just
bitches.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
like,
Big
what's up?
booty bitches.
So-
Jesus.
it's
Like,
nothing wrong.
yeah.
You like what you like.
Yeah.
And it could be because of who you grew up around. It could be a number of things. And there's nothing wrong with what you like. But
Right.
you may also
Yeah.
have someone that comes into your life that may be completely opposite
And break all
and
that
break
shit
everything.
away.
And it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if she has all those qualities that you're about to list out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then the outside doesn't matter as much.
The perfect love.
All right, fine. Okay. So okay,
Wait,
fine. So the
HuddleStudent.com.
first thing is, yeah. We'll start with personalities then. Obviously, you know, someone who's nice and kind and loyalty is a big one. But I wouldn't pick that up in the beginning. So
Obviously, yeah.
trying to come up with things that I would, like you said, if you see the perfect person, who would that be like?
The physical traits.
Right
obviously,
now,
the
right,
carnal
it has to be a physical
instinct,
trait
yeah.
because I'm
Yeah, of course.
describing something that I see for the
Okay.
first time. So
And that really is how it all starts.
It
Yeah.
does.
now I am a leg guy, so I like
Okay.
tall women
There
with
it
legs.
is. That's what we wanted to
You-
hear.
Wait, you mean
Yeah.
you don't like tall women without legs?
No,
Just kidding.
tall women with like that has yeah.
Nice
She's
legs.
teasing you.
Yeah.
She's teasing you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
A
like
nice
long
pair
legs.
of legs goes a long way.
Yeah.
Long leg lady.
Legs is a good thing. I like chest. You know,
chesticles.
They don't have to be
Chesticles.
large.
You
breasts,
just like
but
a nice chest.
Yeah, something that
handful.
can
Yeah.
hold my hand. It
Sure.
can't be
Wait,
smaller.
the chest has to hold your hand.
Yeah, it has
Your
to,
hand
it has
doesn't
to
hold the
come
chest?
out and
That's
we have
the
to shake
nestle
hands.
itself. We
Yeah,
have to shake.
you have to shake on it.
You have to shake on
ladies,
it.
Like we
you
agree.
better have an extra hand growing out of your chest.
Hey,
Jesus.
have you
But,
ever seen Total Recall?
Yeah. Totally.
This-
Anyway.
This can only be happening
go ahead.
on a conversation with Keenan.
All right, go.
But
Titties,
yeah.
tall.
Legs.
Tall legs.
Nice
Classy.
smile.
Yeah, nice smile is good. Pretty face is good.
Okay.
The body shape doesn't have to be hefty, but somebody who's,
Who cares about their looks?
So do you want someone like IG model porn star status or
Well, see, that might be too
lower
much.
key?
Like if you go one step down from that.
Okay.
So
What's
now,
one step down?
so now
Yes.
any girl he ends up with will know that you are not an IG model. You are just one step down.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No,
this
I'm
is
joking
exactly
with
what
you,
I'm saying.
But
Keenan.
she's doing that to fuck with you.
I'm joking
I
with
hope
you,
so
Keaton.
because I do get people that are like that, and then it's like, well, then
But those people are trash.
because a
So
lot of
anyways,
times certain qualifications do come out. I feel kind of like one thing is like I want them.
everybody has qualifications.
I would like them to
Everybody.
have a job, and
There's
when
nothing wrong with
when
that.
I presented that once
Definitely.
before, this lady sort of flipped out on me like, why does she have to work and
She
why can't
clearly
she?
has different
It
values
was
than you.
Yeah.
it
yeah, then you know
definitely-
that she's not the
There
one
you
for
go.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's one of those.
That's what it
Like,
is.
Yeah.
Why does she
Patrick?
have to work? Because I don't want to fucking have to take care of her.
Dude, there
I'm
are
just
plenty
dating
of
her.
girls
Yeah.
out there who go out with guys who don't have jobs. So
Exactly.
tables turn.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
But having a job is like one of the big ones.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
but it doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is you like them to be a little independent
yeah,
or a lot.
Well, a lot
independent.
independent.
yeah.
Well, and truthfully, Keenan, there's nothing wrong with asking for what you have. Like, and as a woman, like,
Right.
I feel like I shouldn't feel bad asking for a guy with a degree because I have one. I shouldn't
Right.
feel
Right.
bad asking for a guy with a job or who's tall because I'm tall. I have a job. Just
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with asking for a girl that has a job to compliment you.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you're not saying you expect her to be the breadwinner. That would be totally different if you said that.
Right.
Right.
Then we'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? But because you're just asking for something as simple as be able to buy your own shoes.
Equality. You just
You know
want,
what I'm saying? I'll spoil
Yeah.
you too, but shit, pay your own bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So
Facts.
it's all right. It's I don't know. I'm trying to limit my rulings of what qualifications someone has to have because I have to also think that somebody would have to have.
Those qualifications
qualify
on
for
you.
me.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to limit them as much as possible, which is why I kind of have to think about it and really because that question has to be something really seriously thought about. If I just blurt out, "Oh, I just want a woman with big tits," it's not really. It's not really coming out as. Yeah, that's what I want, but is it really what I want? Or is I like it, but I really like it. And
It's
I got-
not
I got-
100% necessary.
I'm going
right?
into this whole tangent.
So
until
what?
I
Is,
can-
so there. That's the question.
Oh.
What is non-negotiable?
non-negotiable?
Yes.
Star Wars.
Okay, no, that's
Right.
okay.
Nah,
Star
I'm
Maybe
Wars,
kinda kidding.
yes.
That's right,
Jobs,
goddamn.
Jobs.
legs.
I don't think legs is not non-negotiable.
No, I think
'Cause
if
you
he
dated
had
a
met a
woman-
perfect girl
I did-
that was shorter and didn't have nice long legs, I think he would still be okay with her.
Right. He's
I
See,
don't
Keenan,
know.
and if she loves Star Wars,
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
So she just can't be like short.
If she puts on high heels, she would have to be eye level or taller.
Oh wow, you like tall girls?
I do.
Okay.
How tall are you,
So-
Keenan?
Okay.
I'm
Your
I'm
ideal
close to
woman.
6.
Oh
6
wow,
feet.
because
Yeah.
I'm like 5'6", 5'7", and if I wear high heels, I'm like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
So that's about
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he
I'm
wants
just-
a girl who's a little bit above average height.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Which is cool because a
Who has
lot of times
job.
Who has a
tall
job?
guys, a lot of times tall guys like short girls, and that gets on my nerves. I'm like, yo, all these short girls, like you only need a guy 3
Meanwhile,
inches
you're like,
taller
I
than
like
you.
tall guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
Yeah.
got all the girls 5 foot tall taking up the 6 foot men. I'm like, get you a 5'4" guy. You know,
Quick anecdote.
Mhm.
Yesterday, I was walking through downtown and I saw a white girl pass by who was wearing like booty shorts, and two black dudes turned to look at her booty, and then behind the black dudes looking at the white girl looking at her booty was a black girl going to see if the white girl actually had a booty.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What about me, baby?" You know, and I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that shit really
that's
happens."
funny.
So I
So
think those
everybody's got types, man.
those I think those threes are major. Maybe adventurous, which has to cover
Which you are. You're
Well, yeah, it has to cover a lot of
likes
things.
to go out, social,
Go out, be
mingle.
social,
Right.
hike.
Yeah, those
there
are good
are
things.
some
Traveling,
homebodies.
hiking,
Yeah.
stuff like
Right.
that.
There are people who
Yeah.
just want to stay home,
Yeah.
not do a damn thing, and that is their
And sometimes
thing.
I feel like that, but for the most
But a
part,
nice
adventures.
balance. I think those are not bad basic things
Yeah,
to
to
ask
want.
for.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
not
Well,
at all.
those are, but when we lead into certain other categories, there are some things I would want
Name
out of it.
one. Let's hear one. You don't have to name everything, but just name one little more controversial thing.
Oh no!
It's like she has to be willing to do the rusty trombone.
I'm
The
ready.
rusty trombone. What is
A
that?
dirty Sanchez. What was the other one? You
If you don't know what a rusty trombone is, then you probably shouldn't know by now.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad I don't know that.
It is leading to like certain sexual things.
But see, that comes
that's-
in time though. Like that.
But we're talking about who I want and who
Yes.
I want to be perfect, and
Okay.
this has to cover that.
So
kind of
you
stuff.
want
Okay,
someone
so
who
speak
has a
on it.
healthy appetite for sex.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with
There's
wanting a
nothing wrong
healthy
with
sex
that.
drive.
Yeah.
You don't want someone who's like once a month and it's
well, I did have
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that was,
But
like
and that's why you're not together.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
But
it's
you have to
okay
have
that
someone
you
that
walked
matches
away,
you.
yeah.
and it did. Well, yeah,
Again,
because
you're okay with asking for what you have.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. If you have a healthy sex drive, it's fair to say, I want someone with a healthy sex drive.
Mm.
And it's
It's
just not
completely
working
fine.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Sorry,
in the
yeah.
beginning of the relationship, when you guys do start talking about getting intimate, it's okay to say, like, how often a week or a month do you enjoy
Yeah.
being intimate with your partner, and get
Right.
that answer from them. And if they say, for me, 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient. And if for you, 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient,
Yeah.
then that's fair. But if they say, I'm not really that big, we can do a couple times a month, then at least if a couple times a month is not sufficient for you.
But it led to that. It started out 2-3
And that
times a
does
week,
happen.
and then it just gradually. And I came out like, hey, what happened to the 2-3 times a
Yeah.
week thing? But then it reverted back on me because the way they came back at me made me feel like I was like this dirty pervert who wanted sex all the
Mm.
time. And it's like maybe
That
and
sounds
you
like
just
a
know it's-
manipulative
and
person
I
who doesn't know how to
accepted-
communicate that something.
I accepted myself as that person, but
As a dirty perverted.
No.
Keenan.
well, yeah,
You're not,
Hey,
man.
man, I'm with you.
Dude, especially an early fresh relationship, you
Mhm.
should be tearing it up everywhere.
Yeah, I think
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
But that's the thing,
Let me tell
Keenan.
you
If-
I'm a little
if you-
exaggerated,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you guys should it's only like, and it really that should never die out, but sometimes it does. Stress, work, it's crazy.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Financial
Things are
situations
understandable.
change
Yes.
and things like that,
Yes.
right? But
I
if
get
it's clear and out of nowhere, there's some issue that wasn't being
Yes.
addressed.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But it just led me to go to self-judge myself, which I'm trying to get out of. You kind of hear me
Sure.
be more dirty on the podcast and in person because that's who I really am.
You're
But-
just
But
dirty.
you do it in a loving, joking way. You're
Yeah.
not really out there.
You're not a real pervert, Keenan.
you're
I
not.
And you
try.
shouldn't be
I
made
really
to feel
try.
like one, though.
Exactly.
Because, but that's not fair
Yeah.
for it. That's almost like emotional abuse. Because truthfully,
Yeah.
if the person no longer wants to have sex with you, it's a conversation that's like, did I do something wrong? Are you not
Right.
interested in me anymore?
Hmm.
It shouldn't be turned around on you're a
you're-
pervert for wanting me. No, because you
Yeah.
wanted me too.
That's
And
foul.
if in that
That's wrong.
conversation,
Mm.
if that person has to be honest with you, and if it's not something that you're okay with, it's okay to leave, because at the end of the day, I would rather you leave than cheat. And that's what it would lead to, because if she's not satisfying you sexually,
You gotta
at
go
least,
out there and get it. you know?
yeah,
but the last thing you would want to do is be a cheater.
Right.
yeah. Which
So-
I'm nowhere close. To being
So
someone like
basically,
that,
you're
but-
just going to accept not getting sex,
which
which is not fair.
wait,
That happened
yeah.
to a friend of mine
Yeah.
who, in the beginning, they were getting it all the time.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, once she moved in and after some time, he would, tap her on the shoulder. No, not right now. Later, after we do this, after that. And it will go weeks without having sex.
Yeah.
And she lives there.
That's my
That's not
scenario.
okay.
That's literally what happened to me.
But that's not okay. Women, that is not okay. If you do not want to have sex with your man,
You need
Like-
to get out. You need to go
well,
somewhere
then
else.
why are you with him? And I'm
Yeah.
not saying sex is the thing that has to happen in a
Right.
relationship, but at the same
It's
time,
important.
you have to ask yourself, what is going on? Is it something that he's doing wrong? Am I not liking the way that he doesn't clean up after himself? Am I not liking something and I'm allowing that to view him differently?
right.
You
'cause
need
then
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Address it.
Yeah.
Really.
And he needs
Speak
to
on
be,
it,
and
sister.
he's,
Speak on
and
it.
he needs to be equally open to going.
Many
okay,
ladies need to
okay.
hear
Yeah.
this.
Mm.
And if
Okay.
he's not willing to change, like let's say maybe she didn't like the way you kept dirty socks out. I'm just saying. Like maybe that's the thing. And maybe that turned her off. But if that's the case, if you don't say it, how can I fix it?
Right.
Exactly.
Say something, see something.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like at the airport. Say something, see something.
Yeah.
That's true.
TSA applies to a relationship.
Man, any relationship, any little thing, even if you think it's a little thing, if it bothers you, bring it up, but it's about how you bring it up.
Yes.
Right? By saying, look, please don't laugh at me for feeling weird about this or seeing it as a problem. Maybe I'm tripping, but like, would it be if I were to do the same thing? Would that make you feel weird? Like, I don't know. I'd bring it up in the best way you can and say, and look, I may not say it perfectly, so please work with me until we get it right. Like, I think not enough people frame a conversation before jumping into a conversation.
I agree. And if you have a good partner, they will literally hear you out. And if they want, but it has to be the right partner that wants to make it work. Because if the partner is just there to kill time, then it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
You know, they're not serious about the relationship. But if they're serious about it, like one thing I love about Tony is that when I have an issue or concern, and even if I'm yelling at him, you know, as girls do, he does not raise his voice at me. He will calmly listen to me and try to talk out whatever is going on. And I love that because that keeps me calm. And that way it's not about the emotions and just saying something that you're going to regret later. It's actually talking out your issues. And at the end of it, you know, you feel so much better. And then you feel like you guys have moved on to a different place in your relationship because whatever that issue is has now been squashed or you've agreed to work on something. And it, like an issue with the sex thing, it should not be turned around to you being a pervert.
Yeah.
If you're bringing it up to her, because you could just easily go out and cheat instead.
Well, I did. It came to a point where I was actually asking for it. And then it was like, it almost seemed like it upsetted her that I was asking for it. And this was after like 2 weeks of waiting.
It upset you that you have to ask your girl for sex.
Exactly. But it just didn't, maybe it's the way I communicated it wrong or something like that. I don't know.
With sex, I think it always traces back to, especially if you're starting to live together and that's where it's starting to happen, it always traces back to some living habit that they just don't want to bother addressing anymore if they're not communicating it. Or something they're embarrassed to communicate about.
Yeah.
Because if it started the minute you guys started living together, something happened in that living situation.
It could be.
Probably it took a while we were living together, but it did come to a clashing moment where I sort of get that huff, like, ugh, like why is it? Because I'm I can take a lot before I get frustrated or angry at something. And so I don't know, it was just a moment where I might be taking in whatever she was saying in a negative way, where I'm making my own self feel like I'm a pervert or not a sex addict, but wanting it more than often.
What's more than often though? Like
I don't know. Like, because I'm comfortable with 2-3 times a week.
Or was it because you wanted more than she did? I
think so. But she was the one that presented. She was the one that asked me if I'm comfortable with 2-3 times a week, and I thought I was only going to get it like once or twice a week. When
You're
she
like,
said
hell yeah, I'll take 2 or 3 times a week.
But see, that's what I do. I take people's word seriously and like it's written in paper. So after 4 or 5 months or whatever year, if you're still not doing it, I'm kind of like, what the hell? You said this is how we do it.
Well, Cianan, I think one of the things is, and I think you and I are similar when it comes to this, is we listen to what people say and we hold them to it. And that's sometimes to a fault. Because I think we do that because of the fact that we're those type of people. If we say we're going to do this, we mean it. And sometimes that hurts us. And I can say that as an emotional person because I know you're an emotional person too. And we're very similar in that regard. But sometimes we have to learn to let go of holding people exactly to their word and understanding maybe why things are changing.
I'm working on that.
Yeah. And I mean, and I am too. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a work in progress. But sometimes you do have to let go of that because if it goes down to 1 or 2 times a week, then it's like, but you said 2 to 3. What happened to 1 and 2? You know, and it could be, you have to stop and put yourself in that person's shoes for a second and just wonder like, well, what is going on? Is that person stressed because of this? Is it something that I'm doing? Is it something? And unfortunately, that person should be able to open up and tell you. But if they aren't, then maybe you can look into their lives and see, okay, what's going on? What can I make easier so that they will feel less stressed?
Because which I haven't done. That's probably one of the reasons.
Just truthfully, stress and anxiety on different things can cause that,
Yeah.
you know, because the last thing on your mind is being turned on when you're worried about, you know,
Paying a bill
finances
or-
or
Yeah,
work
yeah.
or
Oh,
what's
no.
going on with your relationship with your parents or
Have you
anything
heard
like
this
that.
voice? I could turn
Distress voice.
the light on
This guy.
with the mere sound of my
Yeah.
voice.
1-800-Keenan.com.
1-800 Keenan. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was 1-800-Keenan.com.
Oh my god!
The perfect love.
Let's just say I haven't gotten a chance to really narrow down what I really want, which is why I was flushed in the beginning, because I haven't got a chance to really figure that out. I mean, you guys are asking me now, but it's like I didn't get a chance to do that to myself a while ago. I can't
Right.
give you an answer
Right.
now because I never.
And
really,
in all fairness,
yeah,
we are all humans, and our needs and wants are always changing.
Fluctuating, yeah.
that's
what-
true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Down.
Download. What? Actually, no. It's saved to the car. Actually, download just in case. What? One of the things we're all humans with ever evolving wants and needs, and at the end of the day, what I may want today is going to change tomorrow.
Mhm.
But at least when it comes to principles and values, those tend to last a lot longer
Very true.
than other things. And you know, people should, albeit especially when we're younger, we want someone attractive. Everybody wants to be with someone attractive, and everybody wants to be attractive.
Mhm.
Nobody can lie about that,
No one's going to say, you know, I want the ugliest man in the room.
right?
No one's going to
Right.
say that.
Unless they have some kind of psychological problem and they need that to feel better about themselves.
And that's
That's a whole different thing. Yeah, that's a
but that's
whole-
different.
That's a whole different thing, right?
But in general, you want to be attracted to your partner for
Yeah.
sure.
Everyone wants attraction. Attraction isn't a choice. That's the thing. You don't choose your attracted. That's why you can't be mad at people who turn out to be attracted to the same gender, let's say. It's not their choice.
Mhm.
Attraction is not a choice. You may not even know it and meet someone and go, I don't know why. I can't stop thinking about this
Mhm.
person. I can't stop wanting to be around this person.
Can I bring up something?
I'm
like
anything.
You can bring up anything, player. Come on.
I
Come
was,
on, man.
I was just thinking when we were talking about the subjects before with the MAGA hats and Trump and inequality and the relationship and stuff like that. But my question is, what if one of the things I really wanted in the perfect female was someone who stays at home and cooks and clean, like the
Mhm.
machismo stuff, like
Okay.
machismo stuff. What if that's something I really am thinking, like, man, that's what I really want. That's who I am. That's what I just don't know
Believe
how
me,
that.
man, there are people out there, both
That-
men
they're
and
like
women,
that.
who do want to stay home and do
Really,
that.
there are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah,
women
I think
who-
it'd be, if it's a mutual agreement situation, then yes. And if you're able to provide for the woman like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
and you have no qualms, and she has no qualms, and she has something to offer you as well,
I shouldn't feel bad about
then
that.
no,
No.
obviously not, because it's a
Okay.
mutual agreement between the
Yeah.
two of you, and nobody. And I've mentioned this before with like relationships. Nobody has the right to tell you what your relationship should be. Relationship should be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
That's
that
true.
that agreement is between you
And your
and the
partner.
person, the partner,
Right,
your
relationship
partner.
goals.
Yeah,
Okay.
relationship goals are fucking stupid.
It's just for Instagram. It's not
Yeah,
even real.
relationship
I know
goals are
so
fucking
many
dumb.
people that
Okay.
fake
Like-
it for the gram.
The relationship is
Ah.
you, your partner, and the relationship.
Morning cup of Joe.
That's all,
I
man.
really,
but that's
yeah.
what I mean. I've been saying it forever. Like, just not just morning cup of Joe,
So,
but
yeah,
just
so,
in general. Like,
yeah. So the things I think about that you might be concerned about my thoughts and not bringing out what I really want. I should consider that if I do think it's a bad thing, that it may not be that bad, because there might be somebody who's
right.
You're talking
into
about
it.
a woman who wants to stay at home?
Well, I'm
instance?
just saying because I was suppressing a lot of stuff that I
Yeah.
was like, I think might be bad to just say out, that it might be possible that those aren't really bad. And I'm just thinking
not
they're
bad.
bad.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
not
It's just not
bad.
for you.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And this is something I'm always tried to put out, is that a lot of people will behave a certain way and be a type of person and put out these signals that then other people will see and say, oh, that's who they are, and then approach you. And then you get stuck in a relationship or a friendship that you're not enjoying,
Mhm.
but you're the one that put those signals out saying, this is who I am.
When it's
And
really
so
not.
it's so important for you, within reason of not hurting other people,
Mhm.
right? It's very clear. As long as you're not inflicting emotional or physical injury on someone, be aware of what you want and need and be ready to express that. Because it's like being a freelancer, and something I'm really trying to work on. You have to be able to charge what you want, just as long as you make sure you deliver.
Mhm.
If that's what you want, just make sure you deliver.
That is very
Absolutely.
true. That goes
Because
with the
people
sex
want
thing.
to pay. People want to pay you the price you're asking for, but only if you're going to do the work right.
Right.
And once you start asking for that, once you start asking for what you need, it's going to remove a lot of the bullshit out of the way, because the first people that are going to go are the ones who are lowballing you, the ones who are
Absolutely.
trying to manipulate you.
Okay.
Very true. And that goes directly with women because one thing I realized when I was dating before I met Tony was what I was not doing was telling guys, hey, I want to be in a relationship. So I'm dating for a relationship. I'm not dating to pass time. And what I found was an issue is because I wasn't saying that. I found myself getting frustrated when over time I'm not feeling like the situation is progressing or we're not moving into a relationship, but I blame myself because I didn't put it out there.
Yeah.
I didn't state the stipulation. Whereas when I met Tony from day one, I told him, I said, yo, I'm not dating just to date. I'm dating to look for a potential partner for the future. And if you're not on the same page, cool.
Right.
We can just go separate ways. It was cool meeting you, but this is what I'm looking for. And if you're not on that same wavelength, deuces. And it's
That's all
perfectly
it is.
fine because there's going to be plenty of women out there who maybe just looking for a good time, who just got out of a relationship, who just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Go find that person.
Yeah.
But this person is on a different path. So I just need to make sure I
Right.
meet someone who's on that same path. There's nothing wrong with expressing your desires. Now, Keenan, right now, you may just want to, have some fun. And
Well,
there's
thank
nothing
you.
wrong with that as long as you're open and honest about it. It's the same thing as him saying he's a freelancer and how much he wants to charge.
Yeah.
Because if you're open and honest with what your prices are or open and honest with what you want, you'll either get the women who don't want to be in a fling type situation with you, they'll go away. Or if you don't have someone that wants to pay you what you're worth with your work,
Right. They'll go away.
they'll go away.
They'll go
So
away.
it's really about just putting out there, kind of goes back to the secret, putting out there what you want.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
putting
Keeping
out
it
there.
full circle,
You don't
Sheila.
need a
Nice.
book to
Nice
say
with that.
Anything if you're constipated and you keep holding it in, it's going to be bad for you.
Well, if you're
Look-
constipated, I don't think you're the one holding it in. I think it's being held in for you.
Well, let's do this.
Some bran muffins.
I want to talk about asshole dry heaves.
Asshole dry heaves.
Asshole dry
You had
heaves.
some.
Keenan, do you want to talk about it?
Oh,
Can you explain- can I
that's
get the definition?
That's right. Okay. Some people, when they drink
Uh-huh.
a lot, the next day, they're not the ones that throw up. They're the ones who get the runs.
I had some explosive.
And if you throw up enough, you're sitting there going, huh, and you can't throw up anymore.
Uh-huh.
Does that also happen with diarrhea, where you're just like, ah,
Because there was
and
nothing.
you can't.
There was nothing in.
It was like, I can't even. I wish we had this on camera. Damn it, our camera's already stopped.
There was no food in my system, but I was trying to.
This is like, huh.
So so like the muscles
this-
just squeezed up against each other.
Oh, you thought this was a mature show?
It looked like an
Oh,
Oreo
geez.
cookie. It was bad.
So
okay. Looked like some
Like a
fucking
crushed
cookie
Oreo.
dough.
so it looks like you're just alone in the world. That's
So we went from politics to women to how you shit after you drink.
To asshole dry heaving, you know, like
I think that was the state. Did
You don't have
you come
anything
up
in
with
the
that?
chamber.
I came up with that. I did.
Well, unfortunately, fellas, I don't think I've ever been that drunk where I've had to asshole dry heave. So I don't think I can elaborate
That's
on
why
that
you need
for
to eat.
here's
when
the
you
question:
drink.
have you ever had diarrhea? Like super bad diarrhea
Now, you know my boyfriend's
to the
gonna listen
point
to this, right?
to the point. Yeah, let him. Come on, hey, you gonna pretend like you don't shit? Come on.
No, girls sprinkle fairy dust, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we say in our relationship. I'm like, I need to go sprinkle some fairy dust.
Oh, really?
I've seen otherwise. Anyway, okay, you're not gonna be honest
I
with
have
us.
walked into the bathroom before where my girlfriend got to flush the toilet, and I was like,
Oh, no.
You know what? Thankfully for us, we have separate bathrooms. Like I have
okay.
my bathroom, he has his, so he can blow his up, and I can sprinkle fairy dust in mine, and it will be perfectly fine. And then we have
Wow.
a bathroom to spare.
Yeah.
So we are
Okay.
fortunate when it comes to that. But the funny thing, okay, let me ask you guys this,
Okay.
Yeah,
since we want to talk about
Of course.
nasty stuff, right?
let's get it.
Do you guys fart in front of your girls?
I have not. Yeah.
And yes or no, and why?
My girl farted for me, and I laugh all the time. I find it
So
the
you
most
were okay
hilarious.
with that?
Hell yeah!
What about
It's
the smell?
hilarious.
Okay.
I usually, I laugh and then try to hold my breath. But no, it smells like roses and stuff. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
okay.
It's no, it's hilarious because the way I don't know, I guess she would hide it or something like that. But sometimes when she did let it out, like she didn't care, I would just burst out laughing because it was so funny. And farts are really funny to me. Okay. So, and I thought it would also help encourage her that I am so comfortable with you that I could just laugh at you doing the most nastiest stuff. But I mostly try to hold my farts around my friends and like public
but your
stuff.
Partner specifically.
My partner,
I mean, yes,
I
in
don't
public
care.
we don't like no one. I mean, some people don't care. I have some friends who don't care, females included.
I don't think I've ever been that dude to just
Joe,
release.
what'd you say?
Joe does a Dutch oven. That's what he does.
I've been in 3 relationships in my life, like serious relationships, and I think there's only been one that it's ever that, and it was her doing the tooting, the tooting, and it wasn't really a big deal. Like I mean, I'm comfortable enough to be okay with that. It's just never been one of those situations where I'm like, got you,
lift the leg,
boom,
got you.
Boom.
You know, there's
I've never been that type of person anyway.
But she has.
Yeah.
But your other girls had not.
In my current relationship, no, we're not really like that. No.
Okay.
But it's not to say that we wouldn't be comfortable with it.
Okay.
But I've never maybe during while we're sleeping, just one rips.
It may come out.
And then you pull the covers over your head.
But I feel like when you're sleeping, that's different because it's involuntary.
Yeah,
and if something happens, in fact, I'm more embarrassed for the other person if they fart while they're sleeping, because I'm like, oh shit, what if you wake up and you're gonna think I did it? Like that's my biggest fear. Like, 'cause, if that sound wakes them up and they're gonna sit there and be like, oh, did you fart? No, it was not me, it was you, motherfucker. But you can't say that because you don't want to embarrass them.
You're like, nah, it's you.
Hey,
you fart loud enough to wake yourself out of sleep. That's another deal.
Now, what about you, Philly? Do you fart around your partner?
In any relationship I've ever been in, no. But I will say the funniest thing that has ever happened to me. This is like one of my first relationships ever. In the middle of sex. During some serious thrusting, someone, I won't say who, someone let one rip. And both of us just turned around and then we were like, fuck it, let's just keep going.
No way. So you don't know who it was?
Yeah. Because it was serious thrusting.
That's funny.
There was some serious thrusting going on.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say for me and Tony, we do not. And that is the thing we both had in common. We do not. And part of it is keeping that sex appeal, because I don't want to look at you as having a butt and as farting and pooping. The butt is just to grab and smack when I'm walking by. But, you want to look at your partner as still being sexy. And so it's like, you can easily just go to another room, hold it for a little bit, get outside the car.
I could be sexy and fart.
Do it, Joe. What's your sexy fart look like?
He's just challenging the status quo. That's all that is.
There it is, sister.
Did you dab?
Yeah, not too sexy. But to each their own.
It's the same as staying in shape. You try to do your best to just to be your best and look your best in front of your partner, so that you continue to have them want to pursue you.
And didn't we talk about attraction?
Yeah.
Because something about them initially attracted you to them, so you don't want to take away the attraction.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't want to make yourself unattractive. You should always want to be the best version of yourself for yourself, so you feel good, and for your partner, so that they, no one has to stay together.
No,
right.
So you should always want to keep yourself,
including people that are married.
You don't.
Yeah, so you always want to be the best version of yourself for yourself and for your partner. So part of that is staying sexy.
Don't stop doing what you did to get them. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by don't have to be together?
Well, in the sense that
even when you're married?
No, not even when you're married. The thing is, there's
don't get comfortable to where you think people are just going to accept you. People will accept you for who you are, but don't make
treat
it
your partner
hard.
like shit.
Don't make it hard for them to accept who you are either. Take care of your, stay in shape if you can.
Don't take this literal. This is one of those things. Don't take literal.
I just don't know what you mean. Do you mean staying together in a relationship?
In a relationship, in a marriage?
So if they're still married.
If you're not attracted to someone anymore, you don't have to stay together. You can talk about it and say, hey, I'm just not attracted.
But then I think but of course, when you're married, you should go to counseling and try to do things different. Do your best.
Okay.
Always try your best. But what we're basically saying is, if you let yourself go, if you met your girl and she was like 140 pounds, nice body, and then as soon as you guys got together, she stopped caring about her looks. Let's say she always used to wear makeup, nice
And
clothes.
then a couple months
and
later,
then months
I'm not a
down the
huge
road,
makeup
she's gaining 30, 40, 50 pounds. Now she's 100 pounds heavier.
Right.
When you talk about like going and being active together and she used to want to do activities with you, she's like, fuck that shit. I want to be fat and just eat a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Well, now she's changed who she presented herself to you as.
Right.
And you're saying that's not
good.
Okay.
It's different. You're gonna gain love weight sometimes, and that's okay.
But in general, you're saying that is something that someone should say to bring to the attention of the partner, discuss it, and if it doesn't really work out, you can leave the relationship.
Well, I mean, it's a little more complicated than just that. But
it's real subtle, but it's like, try to keep yourself at your best and hope that you chose a partner that has the same philosophy.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Because if they always see you keeping yourself up, you would hope that they would do the same.
But okay. I think I know where this.
If they don't, try to work on it, and if nobody wants to work on it, and it's just not working anymore, that you don't have to.
And that's what you're saying. Even if you're married,
you should still care about wanting to be
even
good
if
to
you
your
have
partner.
kids, like
all that.
I don't think that you should be restricted to your partner if it's not in it. If you're not in it,
because I've met a lot of people, and it's quite the opposite, right? Like most of the general public is like, you have to be together if you're married. You have right.
Now, don't get me wrong. When I get married, I don't plan. We ain't leaving each other. But the thing is because we're gonna always try. We're gonna always try our best. We're gonna try our hardest. I'm not letting go.
It's gonna take some divine intervention to really make you say, you know what, I quit.
Yes.
Right.
But with that, because I know I'm gonna put the best version of myself out there, and I hope that he does. And if he doesn't, that's when we sit down, we have a little talk, and be like, "Yo, you don't bring me flowers anymore. You used to bring me flowers once a month, and now I don't get any. Do you not care anymore?" And then sometimes it could be a thing where they're just not realizing it. And if you just talk to them about it, they can be like, "Oh, damn, I didn't even know you paid attention to the fact that I brought you never said anything."
Right.
So I stopped doing it because I thought you didn't care. So you never know what their reason is for why they may stop something too.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice hearing that, because I generally, everything what you guys are talking about, I hear the opposite. Most of my life is a duality. I hear what you're talking here, which is what I accept. And then I hear the 180 flip, or mostly around the general public of, where I work or hang out.
Because there are people who will stay together and not work on their problems.
Yeah.
And mostly just because of appearances and poor values.
Yeah. And they may end up cheating on them. And that's the one thing you do not want. I don't want to get cheated on, and I don't want to get divorced. So I'm going to work on what I need to work on so that I can make sure my relationship stays intact.
Yep. Shout out to Tony.
And nobody's perfect. So people are going to work on shit. And if you really care about somebody, like, don't ever forget that you're just as damaged or broken as them. I mean, within reason. I mean, if you're really seriously fucked up, then that person should have had the foresight and the patience to have gotten to know you better.
So I should have really, that makes me reflect on my past relationship. I wonder, like, I'm not even sure if I even put in that amount of effort. God, I have to really think about it.
I don't know. Man.
Oh, you think I did?
But
I think you put in a lot of effort in your relationship when you were with
said
person. But the thing is, you live and you learn. Every relationship is a learning experience, and you wouldn't get to be the person that you are now if you didn't go through that. So at least in the next relationship, this reflecting is good, because then you know to tell yourself, okay, if she may not be doing these things she used to, let me figure out why. Am I doing something wrong? Did I change what I was doing? Let me just have a sit down with her and talk to her. But you've learned now. That doesn't mean that you should have went back to, or you should call up your ex or nothing like that. It just means you know more. You know better, you do better.
Was my tall, Latin, big-breasted chick.
I had 6 years prior to my recent relationship of just time to get to know who I was, what I like, what I don't like.
So I need to do that. I don't think I've done that.
I just worked on myself, my career, tried to stay in shape or whatever eating pizza and tacos does for you. No matter how much cardio I do, but like I try to take care of myself and get to know myself, own up to my own bullshit to myself, while still allowing myself the room to be in a work in progress.
I'd like to do. I think I should get to that mentality statement.
The funny thing is, Cianan, and you don't see it, but I see it, and it could be coming from a girl. But what I like about you is, I feel like you're unapologetically yourself.
That's true.
Like, I feel like you are you. You know who you are. You love who you are. At least that's how it's perceived as. And maybe you don't realize that, but I mean, even Nerlene and I have talked about you, and we're like, you know what? Keenan has such an awesome personality. He is unapologetically who he is. Take it or leave it. And that is a great quality, because there's so many people who, like he said, you have to get to know yourself and get to figure out who you are. You know who you are. It doesn't matter what other people think. You really know who yourself. You know who you are.
You're ready to change who you are at any given moment for somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, don't be inflexible, but be comfortable with who you are.
Be comfortable with who you are. You know your likes.
Don't
you know your
suppress
desires.
that stuff.
And that's something you can learn in your next relationship, because I feel like from what I've heard about your past, you probably did suppress some things. But I feel like being outside of that, you've reflected on some of that, and you know who you truly are, the things that you did like, the things you didn't like. So I appreciate in seeing that in you, as a girl seeing that, you know. I don't know if your boys see that or not.
I'm not going to gas you up.
Speak on it, Joe.
I'm not going to gas you up. Fuck
Please.
you.
That's
what you want. You want me to gas you up. He's waiting for me to gas him up too. Fuck you.
I always say this. There's a lot of people, especially good people, they go around wondering whether it's them that did something wrong or whether people will like them. And I always say, try to get to a place, not so extreme, but to a place where you can look at someone objectively yourself and say, do I even like them? Did they come at me the right way? Not inflexibly where you don't take yourself into account either, but really don't forget to do that. Do I even like them? Because if you spend all your time worried about, oh, am I okay? Do they like me? Then you don't take the time to watch them and ask yourself if they're the type of person you want to be around.
And that's not to say you should be super picky, like, oh, I don't know, her lips aren't big enough for me. Right. Not that, but just truthfully, like, does that person make me happy?
Right.
Does that person bring these feelings to me, or can that person be a benefit in my life, and can I be a benefit to theirs? Because if you have if you meet a girl who has it all together and literally does not, she may not need a man, but if she doesn't show that she can accept a man in her life, it may be hard for you to swallow, because you may feel like you have no benefit to her in her life.
Right.
Where you should at least be able to provide emotional support or something.
I'm going to play this podcast on repeat like the next 5 weeks.
And you know what, King? To be honest, I don't have a damn thing figured out. I've read so many books, and
a lot of books.
And all I can do is tell myself how much more I don't know. So at the end of the day, trust your truest instincts. So long as they're not psychopathic instincts.
Yeah, not those.
Yeah, you avoid those. Avoid those.
You can truly trust yourself to make the right decisions, because only you know what's right for you, man. You know, and somebody who really does genuinely care about you is going to take the time to
talk about something else.
Let me wrap it up with this.
Like, yo, guys,
trust the process.
Half this episode is about
trust the process.
Trust the process and don't rush anything. The thing 1-800-KEETAN.com.
Oh my God, the three of you are. It's too much.
Hey, I told you I wasn't going to gas you up, so fuck you.
I know you weren't.
You're already getting it from all sides. I'm not about to do that.
Yeah.
Remember, Joe took the Y Institute test just like you did. Yours was contribution.
Yes.
Joe's is to challenge the status quo, and mine is always to make sense of shit.
We need to inform Sheela, because Sheela was asking about this early, like right before we were starting the podcast, about the type stuff we were letting out.
We have a bunch of tests that we can send your way. Like there's a Myers-Briggs test.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Then there's this guy I interviewed, Dr. Gary Sanchez, that does a. Oh yeah, we'll take a selfie in a bit.
No, I just meant if he wants something to talk about on this list.
There's something called the Engram test. It's got slight religious overtones to it because it's originally an oral. It's an oral tradition. Oh right, okay.
Her card ends at 5:55.
Okay. Do you guys want to take a short break?
We can do that.
Do that, or you're trying to get out of here?
Okay, we can.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. You won't even know we did it
because he's gonna record it.
Shit, we're back. Okay, we had to take a brief break, but in that short time, fuck. All right, we just found out that Nipsey Hussle has been shot and killed in front of his store. Fuck. For those of you who don't know, is in Crenshaw. It's on Crenshaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was the name of the store?
It was called. It's called. Shit, I don't remember what it's called.
Let me see it. At Marathon Clothing Store in South Los Angeles.
Okay, for those of you who don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, he's a rapper. He when he first started coming, he's from Crenshaw High. He used to go to Crenshaw, and when he was first coming up, he was a very outspoken Crip. But throughout the years, he transformed to something a lot more than just a rapper, a gangster rapper.
He's an entrepreneur.
He was an entrepreneur and he was a community activist. Like he was super big about helping the community and helping each other from within. And it's eerie because an hour before he got shot and killed, he posted something on Twitter saying that having strong enemies is a blessing. And an hour later, he was killed. So wow.
Was there reports on like a drive-by?
It was a drive-by.
No way.
Yeah, it was a drive-by. 2 other people were injured, and he's the only one who was actually killed. Fuck, that is crazy because Nipsey Hussle was trying to change. He was trying to change the community. He was trying to. Wow.
And the people who had nothing to do with him got injured or hit by bullets.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. But wow,
So you both know.
I'm in shock. Yeah.
Or follow this person really well.
I know people that work with Nipsey.
Okay.
Well, we know people that work with Nipsey. I'm not saying that I know all of his stuff. I listen to some of his stuff. I respect him as an MC, but even more than as an MC, I respect him for the type of man that people knew him to be.
Fuck.
I don't know him personally, so I can't say anything. But I will say I know it's a heavy loss for the West Coast. That's for sure.
It's a huge loss, not just for the West Coast, but the hip hop community in general. And because this guy he was reaching out to everyone.
So there must have been still people that hated him or didn't like him from his previous past.
Yes,
from his past life, probably.
And then
I'd say so. It's just wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
It's kind of crazy.
He's one of those people that you knew he had changed himself.
Yeah,
he wasn't that guy anymore,
and people still just
and he was really trying to make a difference. So wow, I'm just
definitely a rest in peace for that.
Wow.
Rest in power, as they say.
Rest in power. Jeez, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm in shock. I'm seriously in shock, guys.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It's definitely big news.
Have you ever come across them before, you two? Like you said, you know people who work with the bands. Have you ever?
I've never personally come across them.
No,
cross paths. Like just
I think I did an event once. Yeah, I think I did an event and he was performing, but never like, never met him like.
Just keep in mind, he was keeping circles with like entrepreneurs of any level, like tech entrepreneurs
in the hood.
And
not just in the hood. He was trying to help the hood, but he wasn't limiting himself.
He was one of the channels that was trying to get tech entrepreneurs
into the hood.
Interested in the hood and what they could do together.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm in shock.
Yeah, I'm
definitely at a loss for words. So
we can't say anything than like, wow, rest in power. And
it sucks because it's what we're talking about the community just not even helping itself.
And come on, man, why are we killing each other?
Yeah.
What was the purpose? Literally, what did someone gain from killing this man?
Nothing.
Truthfully,
you don't.
What are you going to gain? His store? What are you going to gain? His fans?
You're repressing.
Like, really?
You're repressing the community. You're holding it back.
And
this was a man that was trying to make it stronger. And now,
the people who don't know about that community will go, see, that's why we keep you the way you are, because you're still doing it.
It's envy, it's greed, it's all the ugliest parts of humanity. Anytime someone intentionally kills another human being, even I can't speak for his past. I don't know what he did in the past. You know what I mean? But for him to put something out and say it's having powerful enemies is a blessing.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't think I have any enemies, and I'm not comparing my life to this. I'm just saying, like, if you know that you've lived that life, it's like Frank White, from New York gangster movie. He said, I never got away with anything. But you know what? I will say that just like I just saw on IG, Gary Vee said that man did more in his 33 years than most people do in 100. And I will say it's never about. I agree with that. It's never about the number of years you live. It's what you do with the years that you do live.
That is true.
And man, like I can only hope that when I go, someone is able to say that about me. With that level of ambition, I have nothing but respect for him.
Fuck. Okay, I have to look him up and look at his.
He released an album last year called Victory Lap. It's actually one of the most one of the best albums
Mm.
in recent memory. One of the best hip hop albums, specifically one from the West Coast. J Rock did another one that's an instant classic. But yeah, it's just fucking crazy, man. It's crazy.
What style is it like gangster rap, or is it just like underground hip hop?
He gets down with the boom bap.
Oh, the boom bap, yeah.
So that sucks. I think we're gonna wrap this early. Damn.
Yeah,
that just
crazy.
Wow.
But also, Sheela, thanks for coming through.
Actually, before we do that, we'll do a soapbox talk. We'll do the soapbox talks. I don't know if you're familiar with the show, Sheela, but at the end of every episode, we do a soapbox talk where you just get the platform for whatever time you want on anything you want to speak on.
We can't speak on it.
Yeah. You get the platform. You say what you want to say.
Call me.
We'll go around.
A fool, stupid, ugly, whatever. I just be like, oh, that's your soapbox.
So if there's anything you want to talk about, promote, shoot out there, message, anything you want to talk about, feel free. The platform is yours.
Well, guys, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. I really had a great time. But guys, humanity, I mean, really, why are people out there killing each other? It just makes no sense. I mean, what happened to do unto others as you would want done to yourself? I mean, it's just basic principles of life, there is nothing that can be that serious where you feel like you need to take someone's life. Like, what are you gaining? Literally, you're not getting their riches. You're not getting their fame. You're not gaining anything but to have someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's mom, someone's father, someone's cousin, someone's uncle be taken away from this life, this earth way too soon. Like, who are you to play God? I don't understand, and I will never understand people who literally take people's lives. I mean, it's one thing if you wanted to rob them. That's still wrong. But to literally choose to just shoot and kill somebody is just so fucked up, and I will never understand it. And it's something I don't want to understand. But on a lighter note, if you do want to check out a little bit more of me, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @SheelaS. SheeLas. You can also find me on YouTube. I do reviews on beauty products and skincare and makeup. You can find my YouTube channel, SheelaSharma.tv, SheelaSharma.tv. My Instagram page for my YouTube channel is actually @SheelaSharma.tv as well. But that's my soapbox, guys. And I appreciate you guys for having me here.
Thank you.
Thanks, nice. My soapbox talk is ass slapping in public, and it's something that it took me a while to get used to and understand, because I don't really mind it myself, and I see a lot of people, slapping their girl's ass out in public, and it gets me to understand that maybe I was with the wrong person at the time, but I like doing it. I want to do that myself, but I wasn't really allowed to do it in public. And it kind of bleeds into hypocriticism too. I don't like that as well, but there would be moments where I would touch or pat my girls in the butt, but there would be like nobody really around, but then she would get super offended and angry and like, don't touch my butt. But then when we're like at the beach, we're like shoving our tongues down each other's throat, in front of everybody. The whole PDA is perfectly fine. But as the moment my hand gets south of the border, it's like, I did something wrong. Yet, again, the dualities in my life where I see on one side, or I have on one side, what's not acceptable. But on the other side, I see people do it all over the place, even with me. So I just want to say that if you want to slap my ass in public, you can, but you have to let me slap your ass back too. All right. I may not do it that hard or whatever, but you have to do unto others as you do unto yourself. I just want to make you guys smile and laugh, because it is a sad moment, and I know how to bring out the smiles in people. So I just wanted to treat you guys with that. Yeah.
Thanks, Cianan.
A gentleman and a scholar.
I hate you.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. I mean, we're all going to die, but that's true. no one should act like they're the ones that get to decide when that happens. It's really hard just to touch on any other subject and not to bring the energy down or anything. I think this the only way to celebrate this properly. I shouldn't say the only way. One of the best ways this could be celebrated and respected is by reflecting on our own lives, and if it would have been us and our lives had ended, would we be happy with the way we've been living? Or can we take a moment to recognize that a loss of life is a great opportunity to reflect on our own lives and decide whether or not we want to continue living the way we have, in any small way or large way. And more than anything, something I struggle with a lot, appreciating what you have, who you have in your lives, what you get to do with your life, and going from there. Really, just appreciation, I think, is what I was trying to get at. Appreciate it, because I have a hard time loving anything the way it is at any point in time, and I'm just going to use today as a reminder to really hug, hold, kiss, and love those around me and myself and my life.
Thanks, Sophie. I had a soapbox lined up, and this just changed that whole thing. Fuck. I don't even know what to say. Like, I hate that this had to happen right now, because now this is just taking over. First and foremost, I want to thank Sheela for coming out. Super dope guest. You did an amazing job. Just to be able to come in here and just match our wits. So that was super dope. Big ups to you. And I'm not really gonna speak on a soapbox, but I will say, just fuck, man. If you value everything, this man is fuck. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. Sorry, guys. I don't even know what to say, but yeah, I'm sorry. This has been episode 21 of the None of Our Business podcast.
Ooh.
Love you. Hey, I love you.
1-800-KEENAN.com.
Ooh. Good chance for you to freestyle a little bit.
Yo.
I can't beatbox and freestyle at the same time. Somebody else has to do it.
Sheila.
Well, Keenan, you could speak.
Jeez.
I try, but it's very, well.
Rest in power, Nipsey Hussle. This one's for you. Yeah. Came up in the hood. I couldn't do it any other way but be good. And now it's time for me to show you how it is, and it's true. Sometimes you go the wrong way, but you got another day to live the life the right way. We bring up, we get it back, cause the community is where it's at. I can't stop, cause you know I got that fire. I'm looking at something higher, and now that you're up in the skies, there's no time for me to realize what I had, and it's all gone now. But I'm bringing it back, cause it's all strong now. When we giving the facts, if you really want to get it, we got it. You know it's never gonna stop. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Damn.
Hey, that was pretty sweet.
I know.
Okay.
Always good.
Talent.
Thanks for
yeah.
And if you need a musician for hire.
Yeah.
Eat your woman out.
Suck your man's dick.
Perfect.